Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our English podcast A2 series, where we practice listening through simple but natural conversations.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy that you are listening to episode 3. And today, we are going to talk about something that is very important for everyone, which is making plans for the future.
Let me ask you something. Do you usually make plans for your future, or do you prefer to live day by day without thinking too much about what is going to happen next?
That is an interesting question, because in the past, I did not make many plans, and I usually decided things at the last minute, which sometimes made my life more stressful than it needed to be.
I understand that feeling very well because when I was younger, I also did not like planning too much, and I believed that everything would somehow work out in the end without much effort.
And did it work?
Sometimes it did, but many times I felt confused and unprepared, especially when I had important exams or big decisions to make.
I had a similar experience when I started my first job because I did not think about my goals clearly, and I just worked without knowing what I really wanted to achieve in the future.
That must have been difficult, especially if you did not feel motivated or excited about your work.
Yes, it was difficult, and after a few months, I started to feel tired and a little disappointed because I realized that I was not moving in any specific direction.
So, what did you do when you noticed that feeling?
One evening, I sat down with a notebook and decided that I was going to write down my goals, even if they were simple and not very big.
That sounds like a very good first step, because writing things down often makes them clearer in our minds.
Exactly, and when I saw my ideas on paper, I understood that I wanted to improve my English, save some money, and maybe travel to another country in the future.
Those are wonderful goals, and they are realistic, which is important when we make plans.
Yes, I did not want to make impossible plans because I knew that if my goals were too big or too difficult, I would probably stop trying after a short time.
That is very true, because small and realistic goals help us stay motivated for a longer period of time.
After writing my goals, I asked myself what I was going to do to reach them, and I decided that I was going to study English for at least 30 minutes every day.
That is a clear and simple plan, and it's much easier to follow a plan when we know exactly what we need to do.
At first, it was not easy because after work I felt tired and sometimes I wanted to relax instead of studying.
I completely understand that because after a long day, it is normal to feel exhausted and not very productive.
However, I told myself that I was not going to study for hours, but just for 30 minutes, which felt possible and not too difficult.
And did you keep that promise to yourself?
Yes, most days I did, and after a few weeks, I started to see progress, which made me feel proud and more confident.
That feeling of progress is very powerful because it shows us that our effort is not wasted.
What about you? Are you making any plans for the future right now?
Yes, I am, because I realized that if I do not plan my time and my goals, I often waste time on unimportant things.
What kind of plans are you making?
I am going to start a new course next month, and I'm also going to save money for a short trip during the summer because I want to explore a new city.
That sounds exciting, especially the part about traveling, because visiting a new place can change the way we see the world.
Yes, and I believe that planning something positive in the future gives us something to look forward to.
I agree with you, because when we have plans, even small ones, our days feel more meaningful and organized.
But we should also remember that plans can change, and sometimes unexpected things happen that we cannot control.
That is true, and in the past, I used to feel very upset when my plans changed suddenly, but now I try to be more flexible.
Being flexible is important because life is not always predictable, and we need to adapt to new situations.
So maybe the best idea is to make simple and realistic plans, but also accept that things may not always go exactly as we expect.
Yes, I think that's the perfect balance between planning and living in the present moment.
If you were listening to us right now, Think about one small goal that you are going to start this week.
It doesn't have to be a big goal, and it doesn't need to change your whole life immediately.
Maybe you are going to read 10 pages of a book every day, or maybe you are going to practice English for 20 minutes before sleeping.
Or maybe you are going to wake up a little earlier so that you can enjoy a calm and quiet morning.
Whatever you choose, try to write it down and make a simple plan because plans become stronger when they are clear and specific.
And remember that small steps taken every day can create big changes over time.
Thank you very much for listening to episode 3 of our English podcast A2 series.
We hope this longer conversation helped you practice your listening and gave you ideas for your own future plans.
See you in the next episode.
Good guy, and keep learning English.